Right, 16 minutes past 6, time for Morning Live Business. Now, when you need to appoint someone as a CEO or managing director, what criteria do apply? Good management-related qualifications and, of course, some business management experience. Well, perhaps this isn't quite the case anymore. Recently, former Springbok captain John Smit was appointed the new CEO of the Sharks rugby franchise without any management experience, but for his leadership qualities that he displayed on the field. Is this pointing to a new trend in hiring executives? Well, Marius Rezelman is director at PSP Icon, a management consultancy, and he joins me now from Cape Town. A very good morning to you, Marius. Thanks for joining us on the program. Okay, Marius, can you hear me? All right, okay. Looks like we have a problem with Marius's voice there, but let's take a quick look at the indicators in the meantime, and then let's hope we can get back to him. Let's start with the Rand. The Rand hits its big to recover. Okay, let's go back to our guest in Cape Town, Marius Rezelman, who's going to tell us if it's a trend that's starting to play up where John Smit, new Sharks CEO, not much business management experience, but he was quite prolific as a leader on the field. Is this a new trend in hiring executives, Marius?
Yes, good morning, Peter. Yes, indeed it is. Boards of organizations are more and more looking towards appointing leaders that are able to influence not only the firm which has appointed them, but actually the industry in which they operate. South Africa at the moment the business environment is quite volatile, so there is a need for change, and these visionary leaders have a 5-year outlook on the way the business is transforming, whereby you look at managers, they much more have a shorter term outlook, looking at a 1-year budget type cycle, but the change that's often requires longer than that, and these leaders are people that are able to look towards those 5-year type of horizons.
All right, so these leadership skills seem to be getting more currency than business management experiences, but I'm sure it doesn't work all the time.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. One has to understand that the culture fit of the leader with the organization in which they're being appointed is important. And often one would find with people of these nature, these leaders, is that their egos sometimes get in the way as well.
All right, so what should organizations be thinking when they look at hiring a CEO? What sort of criteria?
The criteria that they should look towards is, firstly, an ability to mobilize people around a cause. That's quite important. And also what is happening is that the more and more tough decisions are required, because leaders aren't often able to satisfy all agendas. So there's a decision making that has to happen to ensure that the correct decisions are made appropriately. There's also a need for what we call emotional intelligence, because it's understanding the holistic picture that they're looking towards. It's a cause and effect type of approach. So that analytical ability to understand all of the parameters that are going to influence a decision is crucial.
All right. So again, trying to link the whole sports leader and a business leader, do those natural qualities translate? You know, if you're a leader of men in one arena, will you have a natural ability to be a leader of men in another?
But leadership is very much a behavioral style. It's part of a personality of a person, whereby managerial qualities like experience and qualifications is something that can be taught. So one would often find is that leaders have an ability to be a leader in different spheres of life. So whether that is in business or in sport or in behavior. So it's important to understand is that leadership that you're looking for is appropriate to the cause that you're trying to put there. And in John Smith's example, he has the ability to look at a South African rugby environment, which is in a bit of a rut at the moment, and start being a probing voice around critical aspects like transformation, violence on the stadiums, player fatigue, etc. People, not only in the Sharks, but in South Africa and the world, will listen to somebody like John Smit because of his track record and who he is.
All right, and I would imagine a good support system would be all that he needs, and he'll be away.
Yeah, well, he needs to surround himself with those good managers and have the ability to listen to them when appropriate, yes.
All right, Marius, we're going to have to leave it there. We'll watch his progress, but it certainly is an interesting observation that you've made there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Peter. Bye-bye.
All right, okay, so that was Marius Rezelman from PSP Icon talking to us about sportsmen becoming leaders on the field, which is quite an interesting trend.
And I'm sure speaking to a lot of these business leaders, you know as well as anybody that leadership is a quality that is very difficult to actually teach somebody.
And we saw people like Francois Pienaar gone to lead quite well in business.
Absolutely.
All
Should
right,
we see what's happening in sports?